And for the really generous introduction. And I want to begin by acknowledging the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, the traditional owners of the land that we are on now. And thank you, Wayne, not only for that generous introduction, but for having me at the incredibly important Smart Energy Conference yet again. Something, I don't know if I've been to every one of them, but I've been to close to every one of them since their inception. And to see them grow and grow is just astounding, and a testament to your organisation's leadership, but also to everyone here in this room that is doing such incredibly important work. And I was, again, thanks to the council, I just had the privilege of having a brief meeting this morning with President Wibbs from Palau, as well as a number of other significant Pacific Island leaders. And to understand the significance of it, firstly, to have them here is incredibly important. But to understand that for our neighbours, this is an existential matter. Like, this is an existential matter. What you're doing isn't just a matter of growing the kind of businesses that we want to see grown in Australia. It is about cutting pollution, and we are cutting pollution for a reason. And we are doing it to protect people here at home, but we are also doing it to protect some people to whom we have a very important and special responsibility. Now, we are, of course, in the middle of a federal election, and millions of people around the country are worried about the climate crisis. They're worried because they can see the impacts of climate change happening in front of us right now. We've got tropical cyclones in southern Queensland, Los Angeles burning from the mountains to the sea in winter, a flood in Queensland covering the area twice the size of Victoria, the biggest flood since colonisation. And last year, like so many years before, it was the hottest year on record. We know what is causing the crisis. It's mining and burning of coal, oil and gas. And yet here in Australia, we keep mining and burning more. In just the last term of Parliament, the Labor government, who promised to end the climate wars, approved over 30 new coal and gas projects. And the Liberals will be worse. They not only want to turbocharge the gas industry, but they're trying to extend the life of old, unreliable and expensive coal-fired power stations with a push towards dangerous, expensive nuclear power. We can't keep voting for the same two parties and expecting a different result. They've taken millions in donations from the coal, oil and gas corporations to fund their election campaigns. To keep people safe, we need a massive expansion of cheap, reliable, renewable energy, and we need to electrify our homes and businesses. This election, we have a once-in-a-generation chance to get strong climate action and policies to turbocharge electrification. According to the experts, there will most likely be a minority government. Last time there was a minority government, which was also the first time that I got elected, we secured billions for clean energy. We established the Clean Energy Finance Corporation and ARENA, the Australian Renewable Energy Authority, and we legislated world-leading climate laws. The crisis that we're in needs a government-led response. We need to do more than just stopping new coal and gas mines. We need to power the country with renewable energy. We need to electrify everything that we can. And to do that, as those in this room well know, there'll be significant opportunities for your industry. You need to help us drive this change. However, without a stable political investment environment, there's also profound risks, as we've seen before. Now, Labor's been willing to work with us on renewables, and most recently even adopting a version of our battery rebate. The policy that we announced in March would see households able to access grants of up to $5,000 and low interest loans of up to $10,000 to install household storage technology, while small businesses would be offered grants of up to $10,000 and low interest loans of up to $50,000. The second plank of our electrification package, which we announced at the time, would see households able to access a grant of up to $10,000 and low interest loans of up to $20,000 to install eligible technologies such as induction cooktops and heat pumps, while small businesses would be offered grants of up to $25,000 and low interest loans of up to $100,000. And this builds on our achievement, including in the final weeks of the Parliament, where we secured $500 million to be made available to public and community housing to electrify, to do things that many other people have the means to do, although we want to put that further into the reach of more people, but that public and community housing tenants definitely don't. We managed to secure $500 million to expand a program that we helped establish that will help public and community housing do things like install solar panels, switch over to induction cooktops, get insulation installed, which will save an estimated $1,800 a year for the people who need those savings the most. They're the things that we prioritise. And today, I want to announce that the Greens will take that a step further, and we're releasing our plan for a renter's right to solar. Now, for too long, renters have been overlooked when it comes to the benefit of solar. And the demographics in this country are changing, including in large part to incredible housing unaffordability, which I spoke about at the National Press Club yesterday. But a third of the country now rents. There's 7 million people around this country in rental households. Our renters' right to solar plan will give renters the ability to get solar installed at their home too, with upfront costs financed by the government. Our plan seeks to overcome the split incentives, which has allowed homeowners to lower their bills while renters are stuck paying for expensive power. Under our policy, the 1/3 of households who rent will be able to lower their power bills too, while also lowering emissions. It's good for renters, good for the environment. Labor's already adopted a plank of our home battery plan. We know that Greens pressure works, so we're confident that if we push Labor, we can get solar for renters as well. The Greens are the party of renters this election. We don't just want to cap rent increases, we want to bring renters' power costs down as well. The Renters' Right to Solar program will enable renters to request average size solar panel systems up to 8 kilowatts on their properties, and the landlord cannot unreasonably refuse. Reasonable grounds for refusal would be things like body corporate rules, engineering challenges, or local energy congestion constraints. But absent those, the renter would be entitled to have solar on their rental property. If the landlord doesn't want to pay that up front, the cost of the panels and installing them will be paid for under the $10 billion fund that's part of our expanded Snowy Hydro program. The federal government already has a renewable energy generator in the form of Snowy Hydro. It is already there. We don't need to set up a new body. That, under our plan, that body would oversee the installation of solar panels on these rental properties. If the landlord doesn't pay it up front, then Snowy Hydro goes in and does it instead, it'll be listed as an asset on Snowy Hydro's balance sheet with a caveat placed on the title of the property. Landlords can elect to pay off this amount early if they choose, but if the amount is left unpaid, then when the next transfer of ownership of the property occurs, Snowy Hydro will be entitled to be repaid the amount owing. So we deal with this problem of split incentives once and for all. The mechanism would finally remove the number one barrier to the uptake of solar in rental households, providing a pathway for a whole new market segment to be opened up for solar investment. This might be the one and only time that I do this, but like 5 minutes before I came on, if you go to news.com.au, you'll see it as the leading article there at the moment, because it is something that is striking a chord, because people understand that this is a big missing piece of the puzzle if we want to electrify our country and give renters the rights that homeowners currently have and that they're enjoying, as you know, at a rate of knots in this country. This policy is part of our Powering Past Coal and Gas plan that details our sector-by-sector plans for net zero by 2035, which is what the science says is necessary to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. It's our plan for 100% renewable electricity, the mass electrification of the Australian buildings industry and the transport sector. We know that coal and gas costs, we know that nuclear costs, but we know that solar saves. And these are only some of the parts of this climate and energy plan which I'm releasing today, which can be found on our website. The Greens will continue to push, the Greens will continue, especially if we were in a minority parliament situation, to keep Peter Dutton out and push Labor to provide financial assistance to get Australian households off gas. Gas isn't just bad for our climate, it's bad for our health. It's responsible for 12% of kids' asthma. Gas companies are making out like bandits while everyday people are doing it tough. They're driving up Australia's pollution, they shift their profits offshore, and the Australian Tax Office has labelled them as systemic non-payers of tax. We don't need new coal and gas. We need a lot more renewables, and we need to electrify everything. We have a super profits tax on gas companies at the moment, but it's broken and it's gamed by the gas corporations. We also still need to end the billions of dollars in subsidies that are going to fossil fuel corporations. We need a plan to shift our transport fleet off unreliable oil imports onto clean Australian-made renewable electricity. We need to build the manufacturing export opportunities of the future in green steel and green aluminium, green hydrogen and green chemicals. We're also facing international challenges too. Trump wants to turbocharge the climate crisis, empowering coal and gas and endangering us all. In a time of such uncertainty, we need to work harder than ever to protect our future, reduce our costs, and keep people safe. We need to be both climate leaders in both words and action. We need to work together, industry, government, people, across the country and across the parliament to get the best outcomes that we can. We can't keep voting for the same two parties and expecting a different result. They've taken millions in donations from coal, oil and gas corporations to fund their election campaigns. To keep people safe, we need a massive expansion of cheap, reliable, renewable energy. This election, we have a once-in-a-generation chance to get strong climate action. And we want to work with you all to accelerate the renewables and electrification revolution. The experts say there'll be a minority government. The Greens are within reach of winning seats right across the country. And with more Greens in Parliament, we'll keep Dutton out and get Labor to act. Thank you.